100th Avenue Southwest. Plans are pretty much complete. We do have the 404 permit for that job. We are working on final easement negotiations and working through some final utility conflict resolutions with some oil and gas companies, but that's going pretty well. Easement documents are currently being reviewed by one of the landowner's attorneys, so we're just waiting on that to wrap up that one easement on the project. Do anticipate going to bid yet here into 2024? Any questions so far?
None.
Okay, 12th Street, plans are about 90% complete. We are working on the 404 permit. We do have a cultural report that shows a couple lithic sites on the project. Right now we're negotiating those impacts with SHPO. We will begin working on the easement negotiations on that as well soon. 16th Street, we have a complete grading design for the project. Plans are probably 90% complete as well. That one we're working on putting the 404 permit application together. That one does have one rather significant cultural site, so we're working through that as well. On the 2025 projects, all the surveys have been completed. We've done some initial coordination with landowners along the projects. We did begin grading design on these projects recently, which we'll start working on our environmental impacts as that goes along. We are roughly 50% through our grading design on 20th Street. The cultural and environmental surveys on 20th look favorable for us, for probably very little resistance to obtain the 404 permit on that one. So we're going to prioritize that here this winter. Any question on any of the design projects? Okay, on the golf course road, the project bid opening was in May. We held the pre-construction conference in July. Temporary fencing work has all been completed, and Central Specialties is expected to begin work tomorrow on site with site clearing and tree removals. There is a little bit of utility adjustments that need to be done yet, specifically consolidated, so those are just about done as well. Completion date is October 5th. Our first weekly meeting will be next week. They are scheduled for Thursdays at 11 a.m. on site, so I believe I did send out invites to that for the road portfolio guys, so hope to see you there. Any questions on that?
Mr. Chairman, Carl, as far as pay estimates, is that running through the county and then the city will reimburse us?
Yes, that's how the joint powers agreement is written, I believe. So
what I thought. Thanks.
Yeah, I think we were planning on doing it like they did with the road. Once we're all done and everything's done, then we'll split it out and they'll reimburse us.
And it'll be a little bit of accounting on our end and whatnot, but we'll make sure to split all that out so it's known what goes where as far as the cost. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Carl. Aaron?
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I also have some updates. We'll start on 2nd Street Northwest and 84th Avenue Northwest. So we did have a on-site meeting yesterday. Contractor continues to work on the project with most of 2nd Street about completed. They have encountered some rock at the very end, but they're getting through it. Should finish by the end of this week. They said that they were actually going to finish yesterday, but may have been a little over optimistic. But anyways, it sounds like the county is going to begin laying gravel on 2nd sometime next week. So if you guys haven't been out there, it's quite a sight to see. Looks a lot different than what it did before. So any questions on 2nd and 84th? Okay, hearing none. So 2024 projects, if you guys recall, on 117th Avenue Southwest, we had a pre-construction meeting a few weeks back. Bronco is still currently working with utilities, but we would expect them to start on that project within the next week or two. I think that was, they gave us a 3-week timeline at the pre-con, and we're getting pretty close to that. So any questions on 117th? 14th Street Southwest, we're bidding that today at 10 a.m. That's what I passed out scorecards. David, I got one for you here too. I'll give you. Any questions on 14th? We had a comment on the box the other day. When we turned that around, David, I included you on that as well. So I think it's good to know that they're working on that one too. So, and Commissioner Marsh, yes, I will notify landowners when we're about ready to crack on that one too. 119th, so we're finishing up the right-of-way exhibits, and the deal there is that that road is not on the section line due to drainage area out there that we can't really fill in. Tracy, I'm sure you're familiar with that. So it's a little more complex putting together the exhibits for those right-of-way documents, but should have that wrapped up by the end of the week. And then Tracy, as we talked earlier, I'll be seeing you shortly. So, questions on 119th? Just additional too, I don't know if I told you guys last week, but I don't think Commissioner Quinn was here, but we were able to design and avoid all cultural and wetland impacts, so we won't need a 404 permit. So we'll get that bid yet this year. I don't know if, we'll probably be getting a little bit later as far as getting constructed, but at least we'll have dollars allocated to that too. So last but not least, 99th. So that one is kind of still being the problem child. We're working on that. We got plans about 80% complete, but there's significant cultural impacts. So we've been working with cultural and our design team to try to do the same thing that we did on 119th to at least, I can't say we can avoid getting a 404 permit on that one, but we'll definitely try to minimize what we have for impacts on that too. So, questions on 99th? Okay, hearing none. So Manning, at the last commission meeting, when I was on vacation there, we were working on that, the water design. Since I got back, they didn't make much progress while I was gone, but since I got back, I kind of got them on top of that. And we had a working base map done prior to the end of last week. And I also last Friday received the preliminary water design, Joanne's kind of like I mentioned yesterday. Started looking at that. I called Tyson. Tyson's looking at to see if that suffices for Southwest for preliminary design too. He's looking at that today as well. I want to get that out to Holly, yourself, and Will, just for additional comments. That's kind of how that stuff always works. Get the preliminary design and then see what we're missing or what you guys think should be added. Once we get that locked in, then we'll. I called Tyson too on my way out here. He still hasn't gotten anything back from Southwest regarding right-of-way documents or what. I guess I can't remember her name off the top of my head. The guy with Southwest is still working with their legal department to come up with the legal terms or the legal verbiage for the right-of-way documents, but that's in process too. That's about all I have on Manning at this point. Any questions on that?
Mr. Chairman, on this Manning project, do the lines have to be laid here first before they'll run the line from Cadmus's down here? How's that working? I've heard all different kinds of stories.
To that last part one more time, Bob. Do the lines have to be laid before they run from where?
Does the county need to have the lines in Manning in place before Southwest Water will bring the water down?
Gotcha.
There is water here. This is Southwest Water.
Yeah, but they got to bring a bigger line
at some point. Correct.
from Keith Cadmus's.
So I think, that's a good question. At this point, I would believe that, they don't have an improvement project scheduled as far as I know, like in the immediate future. So just in a practical sense, we have to get the water lines in Manning prior to that occurring. But correct, Joanne, does that sound right to you?
So Bob, to address that, so the amount of water that Manning currently has, according to the hydrology, we should only be supporting 24. We support 44 connections. So we are going to put the lines in. We'll continue to have the same amount of water coming into our central point. And once we get this project underway, we'll step back and take a look at how do we get more water here. And until we can truly get more water, they won't take it over. So we're looking at a couple years yet before. So there's no At this point, there's no project to get more water here. But in how they prioritize their projects is by the number of hookups that they have signed up. So technically, Manning alone would have about 20 hookups on the list because, like I said, we only have, according to their calculations, we only have enough water to support 24. And so that additional 20 that already get service and will continue to get service even once we put the new lines in. Plus, we probably have another 5 lots that are signed up to get water eventually. We can't put them online until we get more water coming in. The discussion is, where do we get more water from? We haven't tackled that. So we're not even sure how to get all that water here. And depending on where it comes from, will also depend on, are there people between here and there that would like to hook up? And can they get on the list and pay their fee? So that is all needs to be discussed yet.
Is there still going to be pressure in Manning with the water if we just go with the water we got?
We had that discussion with the engineers. He doesn't, because we'll be bringing in larger line than what currently is in there on the main. He believes that we'll continue to have the same pressure.
I was just wondering because I just got confronted with it about how they were going to do it, and that line had to come before this was done, or this has to be done before that'll come. That was the question that was asked.
Yeah, this actually has to be done first, and then, like I said, try to create a project. Southwest Water would like to create a project to get more water here. But that's a bigger process then. And so once we get through this, our next discussion will be, how do we create a project that will fit into how they run their projects?
When we met with them, that's how they do that. The more people sign up for a project in that area, that's kind of where they focus to. So it'll be vital that people, if they want a hookup, to get in and sign up for it.
Yeah, I was just, like I said, I heard all that too, but I was just kind of, which way does the horse go, front or the back of the cart? That's what I was trying to find out. So, okay.
It's a hard discussion.
There's a lot of moving pieces in that one. Further questions on Manning? Okay, so then my last that I have here on the agenda for the 2025 projects, we did actually, since last commission meeting, actually it was yesterday, I believe, we received the wetland and cultural surveys back from Beaver Creek, so we got the full reports on that. We're already finished with survey and whatnot, so we can get forward on our preliminary design on all those projects on 7th as well as 3rd. So pretty impressed with the turnaround that we got from our wetland and cultural consultants. So hats off to them. And that is all I have for everyone. Any further questions of me?
Thank you.
Thank you, Darren.
Thanks, Darren.
Oh, James.
Mr. Chairman, good morning, commissioners.
Good morning.
Start with 109th. Easement documents are currently in review by the major businesses along this route. We are revising the plat with new ownership. That's actually done and signed and stamped now. I received it yesterday. Once we get compliance, we will revisit the private residence. We have targeted a bid opening of December 8th, 2024.
8th, 18th, it's almost the same.
Sorry. 82nd, designers continue to work on the design surface, which is close enough to continue temp easements and complete the plat. We're working on that right now. Bid opening for south portion is scheduled for February 5th, 2025. Landowner talks are ongoing. Any questions on those two projects? Okay, 26, construction started on Monday, August 19th. Culvert installs and major grades are in full swing with good results. We have prepared progressive estimate number 1 and are recommending payment to Halibuchuk Construction in the amount of $106,619.38.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pay progressive estimate number 1 to Halibuchuk Construction in the amount of $106,619.38 for the 26th Street Southwest project.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Dalzell, second by Commissioner Pelton to approve progressive pay estimate number 1 in the amount of $106,619.38 to Halibuchuk Construction on 26th Street Southwest. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Marsh?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton? Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Biener?
Yes, motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, 27th Street, we're down to 2 landowners that we need easements from. We continue to work with the remainders and do not currently foresee the need for commissioner intervention. Plans have now submitted to the Corps for permitting review. We have targeted a bid opening date of December 18th, 2024 for this project. Questions on 27th? Or on anything?
Thank you very much.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Got a few updates and a few pay estimates to present and potentially approve. Starting with the construction project on 7th Street or Charlie's Pass. The project's pretty much done. They're actually seeding that now and picking rocks. So probably have at least a semi-final estimate prepared at the next meeting. But that one is pretty much done. It's open to traffic, of course, just a little cleanup left on that project. Next project on the list is 108M. That's kind of in the same stage. They're doing some erosion control and cleanup, but that one is also substantially complete. A little further south, bridge replacement on 25th Street. They're actually seeding on that one today. Project is also substantially complete, so I would say in the next couple of weeks we can have a final inspection for that project. The first pay estimate we have is for the grading project on 25th Street, being constructed by Wilson Construction. We have prepared pay estimate number 3. The amount is $107,204.71, which we would recommend payment to Wilson Construction for that project.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move that we pay estimate number 3 in the amount of $107,204.71 to Wilson Construction.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Pelton, second by Commissioner Kleeman to approve pay estimate number 3 in the amount of $107,204.71 to Wilson Construction on 25th Street. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Marsh?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Biener?
Yes, motion carried.
Next project and next pay estimate is for the project on 104th Avenue and 1st Street, being built by Jensen Brothers Construction. Just to give the commission kind of a brief update. They should finish the cement today. They're on the last mile of the cement. And then the base stabilization should follow, and that's probably about a week left on that. So by mid-week, I would expect that one to be substantially complete also. There'll be some seeding and some other things, but it should be wrapping up here next week with active construction. We do have pay estimate number 3. The amount is $1,000,000 $324,662.60, which we are recommending payment in that amount to Jensen Brothers Construction.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pay Jensen Brothers Construction, pay estimate number 3 in the amount of $1,324,662.60 for the 104th Avenue and First Street Southwest project.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Dolzall, second by Commissioner Pelton to approve pay estimate number 3 in the amount of $1,324,660.60 for Jensen Brothers Construction on 104th Avenue and First Street Southwest. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Marsh? Yes. Commissioner Dolzall?
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes.
Pelton? Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Biener?
Yes, motion carried.
Next project in pay estimate is on 114th Avenue, west of New Raddick. It's being built by Bronco Brothers Construction. We have pay estimate number 3. The amount is $90,572.69, which we would recommend payment in that amount to Bronco Brothers Construction.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pay estimate number 3 in the amount of $90,572.69 to Bronco Brothers.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Pelton, second by Commissioner Kleeman to approve pay estimate number 3 in the amount of $90,572.69 to Bronco Brothers Construction on 114th from 28M to 19th Street. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Marsh?
Yes.
Commissioner Dolzall?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Biener?
Yes, motion carried.
Next project that's under active construction is the seal coat and countywide striping project. The seal coat portion is done. They applied a seal coat to 111th Avenue, Gap Road, High Street, and I believe it's CC Street that goes north or just on the west side of the county shop.
Yeah.
All right. The seal coat portion's done. They're also going to apply a fog coat, which is just a thin layer of oil on top of the chips. That should happen. I believe it's going to be later this week. And then we're a little unsure on the striping, but that project is progressing. We don't have a pay estimate prepared. That is a federal aid project, so those are being administered through the DOT in Bismarck. So no reason to approve pay estimates at the county level. Last pay estimate we have is for a project on 114th Avenue and 5th Street Northwest. That's west of the Gap Road, kind of a Larry Lundberg residence area. We have pay estimate number 1. The amount is $386,485.64, which we would recommend payment to Bronco Brothers Incorporated for that project.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pay estimate number 1 for 114th and 5th Street Northwest in the amount of $386,485.64 to Bronco Brothers.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Pelton, second by Commissioner Dolzall to approve pay estimate number 1 in the amount of $386,485.64 to Bronco Brothers Construction on 114th Avenue Northwest and 5th Street Northwest. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Marsh?
Yes.
Commissioner Dolzall?
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes.
Pelton? Commissioner
Yes.
Kleeman? Commissioner Biener?
Yes, motion carried.
Last update for you is more of a design project. We have a bid opening scheduled for the next meeting, September 18th, for a project on 90th Avenue and 4th Street, which is on the west and north side of Dunn Center. 98th Avenue, we're looking at doing an overlay with sliver widening. Sliver widening is essentially just make the road wider. The overlay portion would allow the county to not restrict that during springtime load restrictions. So if I remember right, it's like a 4-inch overlay or 4.5-inch overlay that goes on 98th Avenue. The 4th Street portion is a mill and overlay, so I think we had it designed to mill about 1/2 inch and put about 2.5 inches of overlay on top of it for a little more structure to it. We'll see what, it's kind of getting late in the year to open bids for a project like that, but we do have that set up for 2 weeks from today for the bid opening date. Other than that, the other projects were collecting easements and core permits, but nothing new to report of significance. A few scattered easements, but nothing real significant as far as easements or core permit. Our 2025 projects, I think we're looking pretty good on most of them. We do have a NARC issue on one, which we're trying to work through, but I think we're making progress on those projects as well. So I think that was it for my updates and pay estimates. So any questions I can try to answer?
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Very appreciate it. Wanted to bring up the Dunn County Scoria Days here. I propose that we do it October 11th and 12th from 7 to 4. We'll use the same pits we did last year there. So unless you guys have a different time you'd like to do it, that's kind of what I'm proposing.
We need a motion to approve Scoria Days.
Yeah, I would like one. Yeah.
I'll move that we go ahead and approve Scoria Days for October 11th and 12th.
There's a second.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Pelton, second by Commissioner Kleeman to approve Scoria Days for October 11th and 12th. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing
Mr.
none?
Chairman, has it always been the $5 a yard?
I think so.
Ever since I've been here,
Okay,
yeah.
just one of the things.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
Okay, thank you. That's kind of all I got really. We're just keeping on. So is there any other questions for me then?
No.
We don't have any permits today, so
Oh, no utility?
no utility permits.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Sally, when you're ready, you want to do the gaming permits?
Okay, we have one gaming permit for the St. Peter and Paul Church in New Braddock. They would like to have a gaming day on October 20th of 2024 at the Catholic Workmen's Hall.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Kleeman, seconded by Commissioner Dalzell for the what church?
St. Peter's and St. Paul.
St. Peter's and St. Paul Church. Okay. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. You guys have the vouchers? Well, they're kind of looking at that. Sally, can you go through the financials?
Yep. Alrighty, so we got our August oil payment, which was 4.1 million. That brings us to 106% of the projected amount for this year. So basically anything from September to December will be over in revenue. So that's good for the county. Ended our August bank balances. The total is 122 million that we have on hand. We put more into the CD because the interest rates are still really good right now. So we did another CD for 7 months. It was almost 5%. So we'll earn a pretty good chunk of change off that. So far, the DDM account, we have earned $566,000 in interest off of that since the beginning of this year. So that's another good good thing for the county. Any questions?
None.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pay the bills as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Pelton, second by Commissioner Dalzall to approve the vouchers. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing on roll call vote?
Commissioner Marsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell,
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Bueller.
Yes, motion carried. I don't know if Sandy, I texted her to see if she could present. I don't know if she has to wait for somebody.
I don't think so.
We should be able to do that before we take break. Sorry to bump you up a little bit.
Sally, if you needed to. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
In the past, when we have done projects with the Saddle Club and the airport, we have waived the county's side of the building permit fee, and it's just something to help them out. And so currently I have a building permit from the Dunn County Airport, and I also have one from the Saddle Club. So I'm asking for a motion to waive the county's portion of the building permit for those two entities.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we waive the building permit fee paid to Dunn County portion for the Kildare Saddle Club building and the Dunn County Airport.
There's a second.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Dalzell, seconded by Commissioner Marsh to approve waiving the building permit fee of Dunn County's portion for the Saddle Club and the Dunn County Airport.
Correct.
Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take a break until 10 when our bid opening is.
Martin, Edward Schwartz. These guys gonna be able to do it, huh? Right? Isn't that the outfit that's on 109th? No. No, that's a bird. That's Jensen, that's right. We don't want to give them a problem until they get down to them. Yeah, yeah.
Ready.
Yeah. So I better grab a pen because I didn't have my briefcase.
Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order and we'll start with the bid opening on 114th.
I'll put them back in there.
Okay, Martin Construction, $1,695,543.31. $1,695,543.31. Schwartz Construction, $1,566,633.52. $1,566,633.52. Bronco Brothers, $1,666,714.59. $1,666,714.59. Then Central Specialties Incorporated, $2,154,611.17. $2,154,611.17. That's all of them. Thank you very much. Okay, Kildare Public School.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Morning.
Morning. Just a summary like last year on the effects of the county once again providing the school grant to our district. The top portion of the sheet I handed out is just a summary of the sinking and interest mill levy history. When the talks of building the new high school came into play, the original estimate was the sinking and interest levy would be 33 mills. And you can see the history over the last 4 years. Our projection for this upcoming year is down to 19.4 mills. And that's due to the grant money helping decrease those mills. Currently, speaking in dollars, 1 mill for our school district is just over $74,000. The grant that we're servicing with, or the bond that we're servicing with the current year grant is the $13 million bond. Originally, principal and interest for that bond was due to be 16.4 million over 20 years. And then you can see the effect of the escrow we were able to establish for that
current year grant. There was grant dollars left from last year's grant combined with this year's grant. We were able to escrow 6.9 million and decrease that bond from 20 years to 11 years with a total interest saving of just over $1.7 million because of that grant. And then the bottom section is just a balance of the outstanding bonds for the high school. The original referendum was 23 million, which was voter approved. The principal balance as of August 1st is 12,670,000. And then with the interest, the total to be paid through 2040 is the $14,752,875. So that's what's yet to be serviced. So the grants did make a significant impact on reducing that debt and decreasing those mill levies required.
So an explanation from Rhonda is very much appreciated. She did a nice job putting these numbers together. Very easy to understand. We're here to say thank you. And on behalf of the taxpayers and taxpayer relief, thank you very much to the commission. We very much appreciate it, as well as taxpayers do as well. I hope they understand the contribution that the county has made. So thanks again. And also just want to say thank you to the commission for everything that you do. Commissioner Kleeman, thanks for taking care of the bus routes and making sure our routes are safe and the buses are safe. I know Sheriff Kuhn is in the building, and we enjoy having Finn, the therapy dog, and his accomplice, Mr. Avalos, as well. Very much appreciate having the dog in our building, and comes in handy a lot more than you probably know. So very much appreciate that as well. So thanks to the commission. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
in.
Very good information.
Does anybody have a question?
Any questions on it at all?
Is this something that could be put in a newsletter or out to the patrons, just so?
Absolutely.
We can. Yes.
Helps them understand where things are at and how it's going.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks again
Yeah,
for coming
thank you.
in.
Yep,
Thank you for having us.
Kelly Braun.
There he is.
Huh?
Thank you. Morning.
Morning.
Oh, David.
Yeah.
That power. Very good little.
If you give me just a moment to link
Sure.
this up, but appreciate your patience here. I never quite know exactly how the IT is going to work when I'm doing these. So. Did you guys get the presentation in your packet? Do you have them in your packet? It's a couple of slides. Just one? Okay.
Is it my email? Yeah. I'm Sally. Yep.
So I had this meeting on my Teams calendar, but I don't have the link to get it up here, so I can't share my screen. So I'm just going to wing it. How does that sound?
Okay.
My name is Kelly Braun, and I'm the airport manager in Dickinson at the Theodore Roosevelt Regional Airport. And I'm here today at the behest of my county commissioners in Stark County. The Dickinson Airport is in the process of designing a brand new terminal. I was here in front of you all a couple of years ago when the Dickinson Airport did a runway rehab project, and Dunn County was gracious enough to support us in that project, and we really appreciate that support. I'm here today to garner some support for a new terminal. My request today is that after my presentation, hopefully I can get a letter from Dunn County supporting the project at the Dickinson Airport, and we'll move this project forward. So the new Dickinson Airport Terminal will be a gateway to the Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library and the Theodore Roosevelt National Park. It also helps to support the stable and growing economy in Southwest North Dakota with agriculture, energy, energy development, coal, ethanol, natural gas, oil, and such, manufacturing, and tourism. Our existing terminal was constructed in 2001. It's been a number of years. It's been expanded a couple of times in that time frame, once in 2012 and once in 2018. Our existing terminal is about 10,000 square feet. When we built the terminal in early 2000, the commercial service that was flying in and out of Dickinson was 19-seat turboprop aircraft on Great Lakes Airlines, if anybody has a long enough memory to go back that far. But we have grown leaps and bounds since that time, and we're currently being serviced by 50-seat regional jets with service back and forth to Denver. Our emplanements way back when they built that terminal were somewhere around 6,000 emplanements a year, and they built that brand new terminal with a little bit of expandability to about 9,000 or so passengers a year. Right now, we are between 20 and 25,000 passengers per year, every single year for the last long time, probably since 2012, 2013, something like that. During the boom, obviously, we saw some major spikes. We were about 60,000 passengers a year, but it's settled down and stabilized since then, and we're running about 20 to 25. We see that passenger growth on a nice steady incline from here on out. We project somewhere around the end of this decade to be about 30,000 or so emplanements a year, if everything tracks the way that we project it to. So we have a facility that is way too small for the number of folks that we have traveling back and forth. One of the issues besides the increased passengers is we also have increased TSA requirements for screening passengers and bags. Right now, you come out to the airport, we ask you to come out early, not so much so that we can get you on the airplane, but so that we can get your suitcase on the airplane. Our TSA has to hand screen every piece of property that goes onto that airplane, along with all the folks that get on that airplane, which is very, very time consuming. So TSA has the equipment and the technology to speed that process up considerably, but the airport does not have enough real estate within the building to support that aircraft. We looked about, it was probably 18 months or so ago, to update some screening equipment. We had some folks come out and took a look, and we just couldn't make it happen. We couldn't support the electrical load that it required, and we didn't have the square footage to be able to fit that equipment in the building. So an issue. The second issue that we have is that the 50-seat passenger jets that provide service today are going away, and they're being replaced with 76-seat aircraft. 76 seats is the floor for commercial aviation. If you don't have an airport that can't handle a 76-seat or larger aircraft, your commercial service is in its twilight, and it will go away eventually. So we're planning for the future, and we're looking to support that new aircraft. This isn't a situation where if you build it, they might come. We've already had the request to bring in those larger aircraft, but we've had to turn them down because we just can't handle the aircraft itself, and we can't handle the 50% increase in passengers. Our current building also, like I said, was built 20 plus years ago, and it doesn't meet the current ADA requirements. So we would have an opportunity to meet those standards and make sure that everyone has access to air travel. When we went through this process of deciding on whether or not to build a new terminal or remodel the existing terminal, we looked at every avenue of the current facility. Like I said, it was built in 2001 and it's been added on since. So the core of the building won't support a major renovation. And the additions were not added on to be added on again. So the engineering complexities with being able to remodel the existing facility is just not an option. Trying to remodel the existing facility also comes with a series of demands that are put on the traveling public. It's disruptive. There's always a potential for something to go wrong and flights getting canceled, and that's never a good scenario. Not one that we like to deal with. So we looked at the benefits of building on a greenfield site, brand new, just south of the current terminal. And we have the power and the infrastructure and the space to build a facility that will support the service today and allow us to expand for service in the future. As we went through the process, there's quite a regimen that the FAA makes us go through, a TSA as well, for required square footage. If you have X number of people, you need X number of square feet. If you have this type of screening equipment, predicates this type of square footage. Every airline has a minimum square footage requirement, car rental, etc. The list is long. But we arrived at a square footage of just short of 27,000 square feet, 26,900 and some change, which will give us a nice facility to be able to accommodate what we have going on right now. And then we're planning on adding one jet bridge that'll be able to service 2 aircraft. So if in the short term we get service to Delta, service with Delta or American, we can provide a level of service with the jet bridge servicing 2 aircraft and not having to build 2 separate gates, 2 different airwalks. Those Skybridge airwalks are about 1.2 million a piece just for that little appendage that sticks out from the building. So if we can get some good utility out of that, that's what we're going to do. And then we also have the ability to handle 2 aircraft. If, for example, we have a mechanical or we have a delay, we have a holdover for whatever reason, we have 2 aircraft on the ground, we can still service both of them without any major disruption to the passengers. I'm getting a little ahead of myself in my slides. We have a terminal layout plan, like I said, to accommodate about 80 or so passengers seating or whatever in the space. And then we're also going to design this terminal so that if, for example, we have a charter flight, Sun Country or an Allegiant situation where we have special venues to go to the NDSU game down in Frisco, knock on wood, we get down there again, or Frozen 4, NFR final rodeos, any kind of trips like that where we bring in an aircraft that'd be 100 to 130 seats. We've designed the terminal so that we have an expandability with some sliding glass walls so that we can increase that holding room for that particular demand. Like I said, we're just under 27,000 square feet. The cost for this project is what everybody wants to know, and how are we going to pay for it? The probable cost for this project right now, we're looking at about $46.5 million, which is a considerable sum. However, we'll get some substantial support from the feds and even more substantial support from the state. Right now, we're looking at about a $30 million ask from the state of North Dakota. There are 3 airports right now that have what we call legacy projects on the books. Dickinson with a terminal, a brand new terminal construction, Fargo with a major terminal expansion, and Grand Forks with a runway reconstruction. So those 3 airports are working together to secure funds for these legacy projects. We met with the governor's office a couple months ago, and all 3 of those projects are in the governor's budget. We've also spoken with senior state legislative reps on both the Senate side and the House side, and we've got support from them as well. So the support on the state level is there. We need to get those funds allocated this next biennium so that we're ready to go out for bid this coming spring. The federal government is looking at supporting this project with about $10 million. It may be a little bit more than that, but 10, pretty confident in saying that we'll for sure get the 10. It could be as high as 13, but there are a number of factors that go into that. The aviation sector across the nation right now is at capacity. If you guys watch the news, you know that anytime there's an influx of passengers with a holiday weekend or a spring break weekend or anything like that, it just seems like the entire system just melts down. So the funds to support aviation across the nation are really limited. So this project under normal times would be eligible for a 90% federal match, but there just isn't enough federal money right now to go around. So 10 million is what they've said that they can give us, and I guess we'll take what we can get. North Dakota is fortunate that we have revenue and we're on solid financial ground so that the state of North Dakota can come in and take up that shortfall, right? Normally it would be just the opposite. The feds would come in with 30, the state would come in with 10, and then we would have our local match. So that is really the brass tacks of where we're at today. So the local match, we're looking at 5 million to 7 million, give or take. We'll have a better number once we get our planning and design all finished. But 5 to 7 million. That local share would come from the city of Dickinson, Stark County, and the airport. I'm here today to ask if Dunn County would support this in some fashion in the future. And if all I walk out of here with today is a letter, that will go a long way as well. We understand that Dunn County is in no way obligated to provide tax funds for a project that's outside of the county. But in the past, we were able to receive those funds when we did our runway, and Stark County sent me back here again to ask. So the ask today isn't for money. Today is just asking for that support. And once we get our design finalized, we're working through that process right now. I'll come back and I'll give you another presentation on some of the renderings that we have developed for the terminal, and we'll have a much better idea of what those actual costs are going to be.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I guess I just, excuse me, like to say, this past weekend, I had an opportunity to fly in and out of the airport, and goodness sakes, it needs updated, and I believe it, it serves Dunn County well. And we met a young man in Denver, and we ended up giving him a ride to his hotel, but he was coming to Killdeer to work. He was from Mississippi, and so had a nice conversation with them but aside from local residents using it, it's bringing people in to service, the oil industry here. So I would move that we offer a letter of support and, I guess at this time, I don't know what the amount would be, but that we would consider a donation to help this.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion made by Commissioner Dalzell, seconded by Commissioner Pelton to approve a letter of support for the Dickinson terminal. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
So appreciate your support in the past and looking forward to coming here again and keeping you guys updated on our progress. Appreciate the time today.
Thank you very
thank
much
you.
for the presentation. Darren?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to confirm Edward Schwartz's bid. The bid numbers did add up to $1,566,633.52. I would ask for a motion to award the contract to Edward Schwartz in that amount.
And so move.
There's a second.
Second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Pelton, second by Commissioner Kleeman to award the project for 14th Street Southwest to Schwartz Construction in the amount of $1,566,633.52. Any discussion?
Darren, how come the engineer's estimate, because that included the box?
That was from a different project. I asked him that right before here too. He didn't update that bottom part, but yeah, correct.
Do you know what it is or should be?
It's right around 2 million.
2 million?
Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Marsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell.
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Beener.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you.
Everyone.
I did have one thing to share for your information. Keep It Local is having a meeting September 10th at the High Plains Community Center at 6 p.m. and they will be serving food. I was supposed to share that with you. Anybody else have anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
For a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Kleeman, seconded by Commissioner Marsh to adjourn the meeting. Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
Was it community center 6 p.m.?